All right, welcome back. This is video number 4 in this mold making series, molding and casting. And since I left you last time, I've done two things basically. One is I went and completed the rubber on the other side of that mold. That was just a half mold last time. So I've got my 4 coats of rubber and my registration marks and so forth. So all I have to do with those 2 pieces that I took off now is do the mother mold on that side, and I'll be done with them. The other thing that I've done, as you can see, is I've shimmed the main piece and gotten it ready for the rubber stage. When you look at this, you'll see some horizontal divisions, both in the figure, and there are a couple of divisions for the arms as well. So what I want to do with this piece is to try to cast it by myself, so I need pieces that I can lift. So I'm dividing it into sections that I feel like I can probably lift. If one of these is too heavy, I've got a plan B that I'll resort to, but I'm hoping I can just I can lift each of these. The other thing is I didn't want these to be so big that I couldn't get my arm down, and so if I cast this piece first and then I have this piece on top, I want to be able to come in from the top and reach the seam line down here. So seam lines need to be strong, so I need to get my arm down there to get this fiberglass coaxial cloth and resin, and I'm also going to be using some steel rods for reinforcement. So I want to be able to access those areas. So as I go up, I'll go bit by bit, bottom, and then I'll put this one on top, work that seam, put this one on top, work this seam, put this on top, and then you can't see it, but on the head, I've got a space where I'll be able to lift it off, and I've got a hole in the top, so I'll be able to reach my arm down through the head and treat this seam line here. Okay, so this seam line along the outside of the figure here is to divide the rubber. So my rubber sections are going to be front and back, front from there to there. And so this will just come off in one big piece. So these are my separators for the rubber between front and back. This is not the only way to do it. It's a little labor intensive. It took a little bit more time than I anticipated in doing this. But this is one of those things where if you do the labor up front, it's going to make the mother mold a lot easier when I get to that stage. If I didn't do this, then I would have to do something when I got to the mother mold stage to create walls between the front and the back. So you either pay up front or you pay a little bit later, and I'd rather just go ahead and get it done at the beginning. This gives me a really clean cut too, and I don't have to cut through the rubber when I'm separating it. It's pretty easy to work with. Okay, so what I am going to, my materials are the same as last time, flashing and tape and scissors. I also use some aluminum tape, which comes in handy in some areas that are kind of a little bit finer, like around the hands. I use some of this. Sometimes when you get to small forms, when you're working, especially with water-based clay, it can kind of dry out, and then when you try to shim areas like fingers, the fingers can crack if you're trying to shim the fingers with metal. So this aluminum tape comes in handy because I can create a shim. If I double it up, I can create a shim that'll hold up to rubber and kind of work around some of those areas without having to use the metal. So what I'll do now is I'll probably spend a day and just kind of clean up the piece, just because when you do this, you sort of mess up little areas. So I'll go back and just sort of work it and make sure everything's the way that I want it. And then after I do that, I'll put on the first coat of rubber. So I'll come back after I've done that.